Organizational leadership from the University of Phoenix. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Honorable Mr. Dr. G.
Thank you. Wow, you forget how busy you are. The years pass so fast these days. Wow. I was having flashbacks for a moment. Hello, Dora. Once again, thank you for the invitation to speak before this induction ceremony, the Political Science Honor Society. So I'm very appreciative and very glad to have this opportunity. And I think it's very important, as a chair of the department here, I think it's really critical that we, recognize students for the hard work and commitments that they make and the contributions that they're making here on the collegiate level, but also understand that we're making more contributions out there in the real world beyond graduation. So we're really proud of them and the work they have done and the role models that they serve for future students who come down the line. This is very, very important that we have these kinds of occasions and more kinds of occasions as we move forward as a college. So I want to thank them for their hard work and commitment as well, to start off. I guess when I was asked to do this and I got the title and the topic and your mind goes about post-racial America and post-Obama and things like that, a lot of things go through your head. So I put together a few thoughts that I think will sort of illuminate what I was thinking about in my perspective as far as it's concerned, but also I think it will hopefully carry some weight when it comes to a political discourse as far as that is concerned. Well, first I'd like to give a quote to get some context to my presentation. And I'm going to quote here Kofi Annan, and as you know, he's a former president of the UN. And it was an issue about racism. And this is what he says. He says, "Ignorance and prejudice are the handmaidens of propaganda. Our mission, therefore, is to confront ignorance with knowledge, bigotry with tolerance, and isolation with the outstretched hand of generosity. Racism can, will, and must be defeated." And when you think about a post-racial America, this has been a charge before President Obama, during President Obama, and will still be the charge well after President Obama has left office. This is an American problem, not just a presidential problem. And so once again, it's really clear and important to keep our minds on that particular issue there. And I think racism, I said, before and after President Obama, but since his inauguration in January 20th, 2009, as the first African-American president of the United States, President Obama has been under political fire infused with racial overtones from the campaign trail to this very day. From the moment he announced that I'm going to run for president, the racism, the issues, the attitudes of having a black man as president in this country became a concern for a lot of people. And I think when you talk about his election as the first African-American president, it was historic. It still is historic. And so once again, that you cannot change. That will not go away. He has been elected, he has served, and that's a meaningful thing for this country as well. But some people will not give President Obama his due regardless of what he does, or how well he does, or how long he does it. They will not give him the respect that a true leader that he deserved. And therefore, the question of post-racial America, it was being asked then, it's being discussed now, it's being debated, and as I said before, it will be discussed long after he's left office. And that's very important. And that's why organizations like this, it's important to have this kind of discourse to talk about these particular subjects. And I would tell you that years prior to President Obama winning the office of president, black unemployment rates in our country was high compared to other races. Blacks lagged far behind in the pursuit of education and education attainment. America was engaged in various wars and efforts around the globe with limited success. Blacks had not received health care comparable to others in the country, and disparity today still continues. Blacks were disproportionately represented in each level of the criminal justice system, where for many, justice was a fleeting dream. And civil rights was under constant attack daily from the very first moment he announced his campaign. And to this very day, the battle continues. And I think one of the most important pieces that a true mark of racism. Look at what occurred when he announced the Tea Party was born. And the Tea Party, as a backbone, their primary issue was to unseat, discredit, disrespect the first elected African-American president of this country. And so they did this in every way possible. But today, the Tea Party's strength has waned. Because it takes a lot of energy to hate. You know, they got tired, getting tired. You know, but they still hate, but they're weakened. So the Tea Party's not as vocal, not as strong, not as visible as it once was at its heyday. And that's a good thing, because now the president and the country can settle down and put some of the hatred to the side and do the good work of America. And I would tell you that when we talk about post-Obama and during Obama, President Obama, I would say that during his first term, as you know, he's in his second term now, but during his first term, black unemployment did show rates of marginal growth in selected areas. During his first term, education became more attainable for many, especially African Americans, who otherwise could not afford it. There were many successes in the global war. Think about bin Laden. Think about Gaddafi. Think about Saddam. These were major, major global worldwide achievements that he spearheaded, that he led, okay, which is very important. And then I think also in his first term, and he created and he produced Obamacare with a vision toward making sure that health care and property care was available for all. And I think, once again, that's a benefit. Better health care system for everyone. Crime was stabilized for a lot of areas. Violent crime was down, although crime was constant at certain levels. The Department of Justice became more visible in our communities than ever before during his first year tenure. And I think we saw a lot of political barriers fall, worldwide conflicts, because of the leadership of President Obama on a global map, and that was very important as well. And I think since 2010, the unemployment rate has gone down each year since 2010. The graduation rate in the United States in 2007, the year before President Obama took office, was around 74%. Now it's well above 86% in this country. Once again, another impact of an African-American president with good leadership skills, good vision, good commitment, good support, doing what is right for the country. And that's what he's done, despite all the racial overtones, despite trying to be discredited on every turn. He's still committed to the task at hand. According to a study conducted by the Pew Foundation, President Obama's came into office with a two-pronged approach. The issue is that, according to the research, in 2008, that was the lowest turnout ever of white Americans voting. White Americans did not go to the poll because they didn't want to take part in an election where black men had a chance to win office. So they stayed home. And on another note, at the same time, another convergence, African Americans, for the very first time in our history, came out to vote at a 90% clip. 90% of eligible voters went to the polls. Okay? And that's monumental, because once again, you had a chance now for in their lifetime, and people thought in my lifetime I would never see an African American run for office, let alone potentially win office. And so black Americans were invested in that, and they came and they voted for President Obama. And those two things came to a convergence in why he won the way he did. Now, although some see that as a blessing and a curse, because the fact is that black America did help and shuttle President Obama into office, but some believe now that President Obama owes us a greater gratitude. He owed black America, that what he should be doing should be to benefit of black America first and America second. And that, I would tell you, is a misguided fallacy. You know, he is the President of America, and he has to be fair to all citizens of this country, not just one particular race. And that's what's critical about him. And when you talk about post-racial America, where racial justice should be blind, okay, and I think it's a very important concept when you're talking about President Obama. It's not necessarily the man in office or the color of the man in office. It's a duty that has to be done, and that's critical. And it's critical. Then I would tell you, in his second term, and there have been successes and there have been failures, but the weighted percentage will depend on who you ask. When you talk to folks on the left, they're going to say one thing. Folks on the right, they're going to say something else. And no one's really going to be satisfied because everybody wants more. But yet still the idea boils down to you have a president who's working for the people and is of the people. I think prior to President Obama coming to office, the minimum household income was much lower than it was. In 2013, it was about $53,000. It was far lower years before. The individual poverty rate right now is decreasing to less than 16%, which is a major low for years. The percentage of high school graduates or higher are about 86%, which once again, that's an increase over years before Obama got into office. And then you're talking about the uninsured. The uninsured is at an all-time low in this country. Once again, before Obama, during Obama, right now, those numbers are measurable successes, but yet still, folks are not giving credit for having an impact on these things. And that's very important. Very important. Then also on a broader note, I would say that President Obama has overseen changes for the better in such areas as U.S. policy decisions, the handling of the global financial crisis, that we all remember and call the banking crisis around this country, the housing boom, bust, and things like that. And these were things that were in the making of being destroyed well before he came into office, but when those bubbles burst, they gave the blame to him. And once again, wasn't due. The idea of creation of meaningful tax policies, the need for reform in U.S. healthcare industry, and also the closing of Guantanamo Bay. These are things that he did. These are successes, but yet still they're done with an asterisk. They're done with a shadow because he's an African-American president, and because of whether it's covert or overt subtle racism, they're not giving him his due when it comes to being a good, effective president. As I said, many will not give the president any credit for his achievements now, and they will probably not try to give him any success or credit for his achievements once he leaves office. We're talking about post-Obama. It wasn't him. It wasn't him. They would say that the successes we see today are the results of some other phenomenon. Something else caused these things to happen. It wasn't him. And I think that's an important thing to note, that we see and we hear, we know the role of the president, that he is a leader, he's a final decision maker, but yet still many in society won't give him credit for success. They'll give him credit for failures, but not success. That's a fallacy there. Issues of racism, inequality, discrimination, and unemployment continue to be major concerns for America and African Americans. Although since the election of President Obama, African Americans have experienced heightened levels of pride, commitment, and belief in opportunity, because once again, you're told that throughout your existence that you may or may not can achieve some things, but to see an African American to achieve the highest office in this entire country, that sends a message to all African Americans throughout the country that if you believe what you can achieve, and it's very, very critical to know. And but yet still though, but in reality, we have a long way to go for African Americans in this country in order for us to observe, experience, and realize that utopia America that many people hope, dream, and pray for to see during their lifetimes, which is very important. So I would say, prior to Ferguson, prior to Trayvon Martin, prior to all the high-profile cases we have in the country right now, there was Willie Hortons, a whole lot of Willie Hortons. Year after year, they've been there. So this is not something new for this country right now, just because there's a black president. We have police brutality. We have crime in the streets. These things aren't new. Okay, so to lay these at the feet of the first African-American president is just blatantly wrong. So you blame him directly for stirring the flames of racism, another misguided fallacy. And I guess the questions are African Americans, when some question the president and his decisions, is that are some African Americans being given special treatment because the president is African American? And that's a debate that people have all the time, especially those on the for right or concerned. And does this mean that the U.S. Department of Justice is only doing what it's doing because President Obama hired and put in place an African American leader? Is that why DOJ is doing what they're doing? Once again, I hope not, I think not. Okay? But then we talk about the future, the expectations of the future of a post-Obama America. In relation to how society has advanced on many critical levels, will continue to be an important question, ripe for debate, well beyond these days, and that's very important. Morality, our political system, the heart of the U.S. Constitution are under fire on many fronts. Marriage equality, abortion rights, gun rights, voter rights, political battles from conservative, moderates, liberals, who no doubt will continue to criticize and complain well after Obama's tenure is over that what happens bad in America was because of President Obama. Once again, misguided fallacy about reality. Therefore, I posit that there are 6 points of consideration to measure post-Obama America. The first thing I think is very important is that, yes, he was the first African-American president of the United States. And once again, that will never change. You know, they cannot do revisionist history. That is set in stone. Then, the second point to measure, I would say we take a look at Obamacare. Obamacare has been a benefit for this country. It has been a plus. And once again, as long as it's not gutted by a disrespectful Congress, it will continue to be a benefit for this country well after President Obama is out of office. It's going to be very important. The third measure I think is important to keep in mind is the economy. You know, where are we going with the economy? And jobs in America. And once again, those numbers today look very well. And look at those numbers after post-Obama's presidency. And I think he's put things in place right now where unless, once again, Congress undo a lot of the things that he's done, we should be okay on that front as well after Obama's out of office. Then I would talk about crime, supporting communities, providing services, providing resources. President Obama's presidency has been busy doing from fatherhood programs to juvenile programs, supporting communities. So these are things that are there in place with the future in mind. And that's a very important point to look at the impact of President Obama after, or the Obama effect after he's left office, which is very important. And the last thing I would say, the political black agenda. African Americans in this country who are part of that political black agenda, what are they going to do? Are they going to step up to the plate and take the bull by the horns and get there and fight the good fight, hold office, impact legislation, do what they need to do to have a voice, a stronger voice when it comes to the political landscape in this country? That's going to be more telling than anything else. Because if the black political agenda do what they do and need to do, President Obama will not be the only African American president in our future. And I think that's very important to remember as far as that's concerned. And therefore, and I'll leave you with this final quote. And it's a quote from Thurgood Marshall. And what Thurgood Marshall said is this. He said, "I wish I could say that racism and prejudice were only distant memories. We must dissent from the indifference. We must dissent from the apathy. We must dissent from the fear, the hatred, and the mistrust. We must dissent because America can do better, because America has no choice but to do better." Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Gito. And as a token of appreciation, we want to present you with a certificate of appreciation.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, we can. Okay, thank you.
This read Pi Sigma Alpha National Honor Society, Political Science Honor Society, Alpha Theta Iota Chapter, Benedict College, Columbia, South Carolina. Speaker appreciation for inspiring our society with a thought-provoking and empowering speech. We present with sincere gratitude to Dr. Leon Gito, Chair of the Department of Social Science and Criminal Justice, Benedict College, Columbia, South Carolina. This certificate of appreciation for this valuable